Good afternoon, Dr. Barbara Johnson. How are you today?
Ron, I'm very well, thank you. Gets better and better, does it not? How are you?
Always great. And this is our third session on Think and Grow Rich. We spoke on masterminding and we spoke about desire. But before we go into action, which is our third topic, just tell the guest who you are, what do you do, and let them get a clearer picture where we're going with this type of mastermind, what you and I are conducting, and see how we can help people in the community.
Thank you, Ron. So I am Dr. Barbara Johnson. I am in Hillcrest, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. I actually have an honorary doctorate, one that was bestowed on me for 40 odd years of people development. I work across trauma, I work across life coaching, around all dimensions of life, dimensions of being, if you will. And we've been talking, Ron, about the dimensions of life itself, the dimensions of death, and the dimensions of me. And I came across this amazing book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, some 25 years ago. And so it's an absolute privilege to chat with you today, Ron, about the book.
Thanks, Barbara. And myself, I've been working in the life assurance industry or in the financial debt management since 1992. And I understand the trouble what people are going through, from business collapsing, business succeeding, individuals being retrenched. And some people don't even know what their desire is or what purpose they need to find in life. And I think what we're basically doing is creating this opportunity for people and saying, look, listen, we're all human, we all make mistakes, we all fail, but sometimes we have to take a step back and say, it's time to take action and find what your desire is. So on that note, Barbara, let's talk about action and give me your take on action.
This is such an interesting way of looking at action. Remember this, the creative cycle?
100%.
Got to get this. This is the action part. Note it is only 25% of that circle. So what makes us take that action? What brings us to that place, Ron, that we won't do this? We won't quit. The irony is, Ron, that we get almost into the action side of the creative cycle and we seem to just run out of energy. We haven't realized that there is a very particular reason and process for action. And it is a 50% preparation and planning, and then action. So what will motivate us into also that action that won't quit? And that is understanding why we're doing something. We're doing something by means of purpose. We've seen what it means to us to do this action. We commit to this action. We become willing to do what is required. And when I say commit, I mean things like time and energy, and yes, even money. We commit to taking that action. It's a process. It's a purpose. It is us looking at the way it means something to us, fulfilling our lives, and a way forward that at our deathbed, Ron, there is no regret. That's a very, very powerful way of looking at action so that we don't quit. Quit is not an option. We may slow down, we may question, but we won't quit. We will continue the process.
100%, Barbara. And you know what you just said is to have the purpose. But to get there, as Napoleon Hill said, plan your work and work your plan. So if you understand what your plan is, doesn't matter what your goal is at the end of the day, you still have to plan it. Some people might put a goal in of an X amount of money, or have that dream house, or have that fantastic holiday. But if you're not going to write it down and you don't take action, it's only a dream. And sometimes we have to take that action going forward, because people say, I've got a desire to achieve something, but they haven't got a deep desire to take that action. They will always look at if only, but sometimes that if only is not taking action, and they will listen to that little voice in their head and says, I've tried it. And as you put it right there in quitting, because their desire, or their deepest desire, is not being achieved by taking action on a daily basis, by writing it down, to see it visually on a daily basis, to have that visualization, the affirmation, the creativity, and pushing yourself through to get that action.
100% right, Ron. And so I come back to my little buddy here, my journal. This is the place where it needs to land. We need to see it. It is a requirement of our subconscious mind, our conscious mind. It is a requirement of our energy and our willingness to move forward. It motivates, it inspires, it gets you to see the dream. It gets you to see the place that you're wanting to be at. And when you get that glimpse, when you understand it from the perspective of doable, my word, action actually is just a formality. It's an easy peasy part. It is getting the glimpse, it's getting the dream. It's asking the questions. Ron is asking the questions. Don't be shy, particularly as women. I find our women are more tentative about asking questions, coming forward to ask questions about something in case they appear to be stupid.
Barbara, you're 100% correct. It's how do we feel? You see, sometimes it's not basically gender-based, and I found it a lot of times when I work in the financial literacy, and what people will look at the shortcuts, and I want to just touch base on this. Instead of pushing through a financial difficulty as such, they will look at the shortcuts and go to the banks and get loans. And that will say, I found what I want, but it's just a quick fix. But they're not prepared to take a step back and say, I'm prepared to go through the pain, go through the difficulty. And I found it quite interesting when people go through a difficult time and they cannot get credit. It's strange enough, yeah, they find that extra $10, $20, whatever they want, they will find it because they find their desire by taking the action. But as soon as there's low-hanging fruit, but they're not prepared to climb the tree to go get the fruit, this is where a lot of people are battling with. And when you come, and I also want to speak about on the female side, and I support 100% what you said there, and this is where I find it quite interesting. When you become a teenager, you get the boyfriend, girlfriend. Each one has got this dream. Then they get engaged, then they get married. And the girl's dream falls away because of she has to be the mother. She has to be the multitasker at home. She must make sure the food has been cooked. And all of a sudden, her dream disappears. And 10 years later, 5 years later, they might go through a divorce. Or the husband will say, you stay at home, I'm the breadwinner. So you've got the dominance of the husband coming in and pushes that woman into a state of mind that she's not good enough. And I've seen it so many times. And I'm busy mentoring 2 or 3 women at the moment, say, you're all good enough. Go back to your purpose, what you were when you were young. What did you want to be when you were in school? when you were in varsity, or before you get married or got married, and start writing it down and start planning your road and start taking action by writing that dream on your vision board. Follow that dream. And through this, you can start accomplishing your dream that you want to get. And I've seen one or two people at the moment who's going through a difficult divorce. And I say, just let it go and follow what you want and go get that X amount of money, but you have to write it down. You have to write that goal down. You have to write down what your desire is, your action, your faith, all of that to find what your purpose in life is. And that's what I'll say to everybody. Everybody's got a purpose, but you have to go find it. You have to find that inner self.
And to find that inner self, Ron, is not always a very easy place to go to or go through, because it is a painful place. It is a place that is loaded down in the subconscious mind through repetitive pain, repetitive conditioning, repetitive belittling. And that's my work. It is scratching away at the surface to get down to that place where it can start rising. It's a process that as well, but it doesn't mean it has to be long and hard and undoable. It is a very easy process when you are in the right hands, the right people, the people who support and care for you enough to ask you the difficult questions, enough to support you in your pain, enough to allow and coax the desire to come forth. So it is a specialized area. It is an area that takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes courage.
Barbara, you know, exactly. It's how do you work through that pain? And you know, some of us, we've all got a certain amount of pain. Okay, and some of us make our pain even, how can I put it, worse than it is, instead of trying to break it down to make it simple.
So
you know, and one thing by reading Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill spoke about writing your statement down, what you want in life. But you have to read it as many times as possible, at least twice a day, because it starts thinking in your subconscious that you want what you want to achieve, because you can start believing in yourself. And I was also going for my walks in the afternoon, and I'm busy listening to the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And it's such a powerful book by understanding, if you start understanding start living in the negative thoughts, you're going to start building negative people around you. And sometimes by having this conversation with yourself, it motivates me, because I believe by working with positive people, I can grow with positive people, and just starts making my journey easier on my roadmap to gain my successes, to achieve my goals. So sometimes we have to step back and work with people to put them on the journey, as we're doing now in this mastermind, how we can help them to grow with us and guide them through the processes to become successful. Because sometimes we have to hold the hand to walk with them, but we don't have to babysit them. There's a difference of babysitting and holding their hand.
Absolutely. Let me just show you my little book. So this little book that I wrote some years ago has got exactly what you're talking about. It's 10 steps to getting on with your life, based on 12 years at that time of some life coaching that I was doing with my clients. And I found I kept on repeating the same techniques to them. So I ended up putting it in a book. And this little book, Yes, Yes, You, speaks about self-talk. How do we talk to ourselves and what do we listen to in our self-talk? And very often, Ron, you'll see me smacking myself on my shoulder and telling myself to shut up about that already, because that is destructive thinking. And I'm saying to myself, no, no more, because this takes consciousness moment by moment by moment in the now of every single day, that we have the responsibility as to what we are listening to, even within our own headspace.
You know, Barbara, what you just said, what we're listening to. And this becomes quite interesting, is that what we listen to is what we put into your minds. And by putting it into your minds, and we listen to the news, we listen to what the movies we watch, it's all type of propaganda that doesn't go through what we've been following and creating an opportunity for ourselves, but we listen to the propaganda that goes into our head and create negativity. And how do we create the opportunity going forward, going through, and is taking action in positive things, deal with positive people, to have the roadmaps, to plan your work and work your plan, as Napoleon Hill said. And that is what we have to establish to make things work.
100%. 100%. It takes willingness, Ron. It takes willingness to step forward into courage. It takes willingness to do the work. It takes willingness to show up. It takes willingness to do the action. And when you have determined what that action looks like, what the plan of action looks like, and you can go per night and tick the box, tick the box, tick the box, oh my word, you get into bed at night with a smile on your face because you achieved, you achieved, you achieved. It may feel slow and long-winded or difficult or awful process, but by the time you've completed it, you can tick the box and it's done.
I'm sorry, Barbara, you're 100% correct. That's how we tick those boxes. And we've got a guest on here, Madasiso. Madasiso, what we've been speaking about action. Is there anything you would like to ask or join into the conversation? You're more than welcome.
Okay, noted.
Okay. So Barbara, what I also would like to say is, when we take action, doesn't matter if it's in business, doesn't matter if it's in network marketing, doesn't matter if we've got a sport that we have to do. Everything we have to do is take action, but having action in a positive way. You know, it's, I was listening to Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey says, at the end of the day, is write everything down what you want. Stand up early and get the chores that you want done. Get that done as quick as possible. Even if those ones if you're not happy if it's a chore that you don't want done, a chore that you're not happy with, just get it done and work with the stuff which is unimportant to you right now. Get it out the way and focus on the positive stuff and take the action going forward and push through that terror barrier. I mean, Mark speaks about that on a Monday and a Wednesday, is saying, how do you get to the next level? Get that target out and move up to the next zone. Work through that zone and push through to the next zone, that you can start completing the whole circle. Because through action, you can become successful. But there's one problem, and we're going to speak about this on Wednesday, and that is faith. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith to take action. To take action, you have to have the desire. If you haven't got the desire, how can you take action? If you have
100%.
a desire, how can you have faith? So faith, desire, and action equals purpose. So Barbara, anything else that what you would like to add?
Yes, I think it's really important that when we have shown up with the courage to do what is required, that we get to pat ourselves or hug ourselves in acknowledgement of what we have achieved, even if it's just a small part of the bigger picture, that we get to consciously be grateful for our willingness, for our courage, for our energy, for our money, our time towards that project. And that we get to support ourselves in positive, kind self-talk.
Barbara just mentioned one word which we forgot to mention on action. Gratitude. Gratitude plays a vital role in a daily basis. What are you grateful for? You know, a lot of people say is, I'm looking at the news. I would say I'm grateful for the news to make me aware what's actually happening, but I don't have to listen to the propaganda that goes in it. It's raining again. Well, my gratitude goes out. Look at the birds singing in the wonderful rain. How awesome is this? Is what we do with that negative situation to create a positive situation. Well, I've gone through a divorce. I'm grateful now to find my own desire instead of finding my husband's desire. You know, it's you want to put that negativity into positivity, to take that action, to find your desire. And through having that gratitude, you'll have the faith to achieve your successes.
So I think we can sum it up by saying you either choose excuses, as in the negative, or you choose gratitude in the positive. The choice is yours. Make a choice.
Thanks, Barbara. And I want to finish off. Plan your work and work your plan. Thank you.